Have you ever wanted to drive a tram or start your very own tram empire? Hello and welcome to the Criticulas. I'm a Monk, and today we're going to be doing a review for Tram Simulator Urban Transit. This game has been developed by Still Alive Studios and published by Astragon. And will set you back around £20 depending on which platform you're buying it on. Now, personally, I love me a simulator game, and I approach this one very open-minded because at first I wasn't exactly sure what would be able to do as a tram simulator. My idea of actually operating a tram is quite forward. You stop and you go. Is there much else to it? Well, apparently yes. We have a variety of different gizmos that we can use while on our tram, and operating a tram isn't necessarily as straightforward as first meets the eye. Now, this game does actually have a number of different difficulties for you to play this on, as well as 10 story-driven missions for you to play through as well. Now, I know that doesn't necessarily sound like a lot, but let me tell you this is a surprisingly big map. And it does take some time to navigate that map, especially if you consider that if you have made a wrong turn, well, you can't simply just turn around, you also can't reverse. So it can be a little bit tricky to navigate the map at times too. Also, this is a simulator game. Not only are you driving a tram, but you're also managing your tram business too. Yes, that's right. You want to grow your tram services across the map. You can plot out different routes for your trams. There is a day and night cycle, so you can set up completely different routes and networks depending on whether it's a day route or a night route as well, and they all have their optimal patterns. So of course it's up to you to make sure you run a profitable service. And of course, making those stops means more passengers have to get on, more passengers have to get off. And there is a little bit of a routine here where you go along, picking up your customers, earning yourself a little bit of money and dropping them off again. Now, it does get a little bit more complicated. You can actually make sure that everyone has a ticket. This is one of my favorite features. There's also a dynamic weather pattern. So sometimes it may be sunny, other times it is absolutely pouring it down, and of course you have the delightful opportunity to activate your windscreen wipers, as well as activate and deactivate more lights than you can shake a stick at. Luckily, this tram does come with an emergency stop, which I actually had to use more than once. Honestly, the feature where you actually got off your driving seat and walked around your tram was one of my favorite parts of the game, one of my favorite features of the game, because then you could inspect everybody, make sure they all had a ticket. Sometimes they're playing loud music, or perhaps they've even fallen asleep. You need to wake them up, ask them to turn down the music, or show their ticket. And of course, if they don't have a ticket, then you have the delightful pleasure to fine them. Now, of course, I've never been fined for not having a bus ticket or a train ticket, so it was quite delightful to actually do so in real life. I quite enjoyed that. Like I said, this is a simulator game, and as such, you are simulating yourself owning not only a tram, but a business as well. So I found myself really enjoying the micromanagement side of this game, the business side, as you will. Another part I thought was a really fine touch, and for some reason I just wasn't expecting to find it in a game, was the fact that you can customize your trams. You can customize quite a fair bit. You can change the different paint styles, or of course you can pick out a fully already made wrap that you can just stick on. You've also got advertisements and decals that you can pop on your trams as well, really making them unique and stand out from the crowd. Now, of course, this does cost a little bit of money, and managing your bank balance is a major part of the game, because trams they cost a shed load. They're definitely not cheap. And if you want to expand your empire, make more routes, have more trams on your circuits, you're going to have to buy those trams, and they're certainly not cheap. So managing your budget, making sure you have, the right equipment, those kind of things are quite exciting. Now, there aren't a huge ton of trams actually in the game. There are a few different models as well as some vintage model as well, but there's enough variety there to kind of sink your teeth into the game for a few hours. I'd certainly say that it is a budget-friendly game. Yes, it's not necessarily a very, very cheap game, but there's definitely enough content here to get you excited. I think one of the small pieces of touch of detail I quite liked is the fact that you've got like wheelchair users, for instance, in the game. And of course, if you want them to board your train, you're going to have to extend the ramp to them. Also, you're going to have to retract that ramp, open and close the doors. These small little features I found myself really enjoying. Something I was also not expecting is that this is a fully voice acted game. There is a narrator kind of pushing through the story, and I wasn't expecting that again, and so I really enjoyed it. Now, this is a simulator game, and as such, we should really touch on the tutorial. It could use a little bit of TLC, if I'm honest. I found myself at the first hour of the game a little bit frustrated about what buttons done what, even turning, like choosing the tracks that I was driving. If I wanted to go left or right or straight on, for instance, I didn't notice how to do this at first, and the game never really actually tells you. You kind of have to figure this out for yourself. What I will say is, if you are patient and give this game an hour, figure out some of the basic mechanics of the game, you'll really enjoy your time if you enjoy those slow-paced simulator games. One thing I should also mention, if you already own Bus Simulator 21 Next Stop, Season Pass, or even the Tram official extension, I believe you get this added to your collection for free, meaning you don't actually have to spend any money if you've already invested in either of those two beforehand. I actually think that's a really nice touch. It's almost an extra DLC for the game. That being said, it's a game in itself too. And this game also has multiplayer. Yes, you can play with up to 3 friends, and it's PC crossplay. So if one of your friends happens to own this over on PC, they can jump into your console game too. I really like that. Any games that actually allow a bit of crossplay or allow you to play with your friends is gonna be a big thumbs up from me. How this game actually plays out on multiplayer, I don't know. I haven't done that yet myself. Very interested to know, because I've crashed into many a car and lorry in this game. I wish there was a little bit more urgency from that. I wish there was a little bit more of an impact from that. You do get fined, the cars tend to disappear. I'd like a little bit more from that, unfortunately. Like I said, I'd also like the tutorial revamped quite a bit as well, because I do think the first hour of this game is a little bit slow because of that. But all in all, I really enjoyed my time in this game, and I feel like it earns a solid 7 out of 10, simply because I think it is priced well. I think there's enough content here to enjoy for a decent amount of time, and it performs very, very well. I had no issues whatsoever, and growing your empire, watching your profits gain, is something that I really enjoy from these types of games. But don't forget, guys, if you have enjoyed this review and watched to the very end, don't forget to comment Red Banana down below, just confuse all those people that are new to the channel or that didn't watch to the very end. And as always, if you are not subscribed already, think about doing so. That way you don't miss out on more content just like this. But until next time, I've been a monk, we've been Customisation, and I'll see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.